The German government says it will launch an investigation to determine whether security services could have prevented the deadly attack on a Christmas market in Magdeburg. 5 people died and 200 were injured when a car was driven through crowds at the market on Friday night. Magdeburg is still coming to terms with what happened.
There's sadness everywhere. Magdeburg residents are grieving the loss of those killed. They were at a Christmas market packed with families and friends on Friday evening to celebrate the German Christmas season. But the peace was shattered when a car plowed through the crowd.
I'm sad, very, very sad. There's no joy in this Christmas season for me. I'm glad that my family is healthy and was not affected, nor were my friends. But I feel very, very deeply for the families of those who have lost loved ones or been injured.
Police here can be seen taking the suspected attacker, Talib A, to the court. For now, he remains in custody on charges of murder. Talib A is a Saudi national who has been living in Germany for more than a decade. His alleged attack has also stirred up tensions over the charged issue of immigration. On Saturday night, this far-right demonstration demanded the mass deportation of immigrants. This is despite reports suggesting the suspected attacker had made posts on social media expressing his support for Germany's far-right party, the AfD.
It's clear that this is an issue that populists on the right and the left in Germany, on the run-up to the federal elections on the 23rd of February next year, are going to try to use for their purposes. Despite being a fan of the AfD now makes this into a cause that they try to misuse. That's why the parties, what we call of the democratic spectrum, that do not want to do away with democracy and freedom in Germany, unlike other parties, have to unite and look hard, honest, at what failures were in the process that allowed this attack to happen.
And while this debate continues, those who lost their loved ones are seeking answers to how something like this happened.
For more analysis, let's bring in Politico's chief Europe correspondent, Matthew Karnitschnig. Matthew, the German government's promised to investigate whether this attack could have been prevented. With what we know so far, are there areas that they will already be looking closely at?
Absolutely. There were ample warnings looking back. And of course, in hindsight, you've got 2020 the vision, but there were warnings from individuals who'd contacted German authorities saying that they needed to look into Talib A, and there were also, really detailed posts from him on Twitter or X, on social media, where he was making threats, and it should have been worrying to anybody if they had been paying attention, and certainly given his position as a psychiatrist in a state hospital in Saxony-Anhalt, it's not the kind of behavior that should have gone unnoticed. So I think there is definitely going to be a bit of soul searching here. There were also, of course, warnings from the Saudi government that went unheeded. Although in terms of those specific warnings from Saudi Arabia, given that country's record of dealing with dissidents, it's not that surprising, perhaps, that the German government didn't respond to those.
Now, the suspect in the attack had expressed strong anti-Islam views. The German Interior Minister called him Islamophobic. And yet a far-right protest was held in Magdeburg this weekend. Do you think that this attack on the Christmas market will still play in their favor?
I think it might on the fringes, but to be honest, I think it's going to be very difficult for them because there is such a detailed record of the suspect supporting the AfD, supporting the leader of the AfD, or one of the leaders of the AfD, Alice vital, praising her. So it muddies the waters a little bit. This isn't the usual pattern that we see in terrorist attacks in Germany and indeed in Europe, where the suspect is usually a youngish man, an asylum seeker who has pledged allegiance to ISIS or some other jihadist group. Talib A was a psychiatrist, or is a psychiatrist, and he received his medical training in Germany, or his advanced medical training in Germany. And if anything, he's the kind of individual, the kind of refugee ultimately that I think many in the political establishment would say, this is the sort of profile that we need to emphasize. Here's a Muslim who came to Germany from Saudi Arabia, received asylum, he was integrated into society, speaks German, speaks fluent English, and by all outward appearances, at least, it seemed to be going well. But of course, that was not the case, and there were warning signs. One of those warning signs came in 2013 when he was convicted by a German court of making threatening comments to people at a university. So, there were some indications there that if the authorities had taken it more seriously, maybe it wouldn't have come to this tragedy.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. That is Matthew Karnitschnig, Politico's Chief Europe Correspondent.
Thank you.
Let's cross to Magdeburg now and talk to journalist Dan Hirschfeld. Hello, Dan. Thanks for your time. So how have people been coping there in Magdeburg?
Magdeburg is still in a condition of shock. Many people are still not able to fully understand, to recognize what really happened here. At the same time, there is an incredible sense of solidarity here in Magdeburg. For example, yesterday evening there was a memorial service in the Cathedral of Magdeburg, and thousands of people were waiting in front of the cathedral in pouring rain for more than 1 hour. And it's a similar situation here in front of that church where I'm standing. This church is only a few meters away from the Christmas market and from the location where the attack took place. You see people coming here, bringing flowers, bringing candles, and this sense of solidarity is all over Magdeburg.
Right. And rightfully so. Around 200 people have been injured, 40 of them in critical condition. What more do we know about them?
Yesterday evening, we received a message from the hospital in Magdeburg. The message was that none of the seriously injured people are still in danger to die, which is actually good news. But we have to keep in mind that a lot of injured people were taken by helicopters to other cities, to other hospitals right after the attack. So we up to now don't know if this good news is for all of the injured people.
Right. So we know that there's still an ongoing investigation. Do we know anything new coming out of that?
Yeah, the assassin was captured, that we know. In the meantime, there is an arrest warrant. The assassin is to be charged for 5 counts of murder and several counts of body harm. And for sure, the investigators are continuing to question the assassin, but up to now, they did not release any information, any details. I think that's for not to jeopardize the questioning or the investigations.
Right. Journalist Dan Hirschfeld in Magdeburg. Thank you.